Almost 20 years ago, the first esports tournament sprung up around the world. Today, it's a $200,000 prize pool, a trophy which would grace any sporting event proudly, and it's all going down in a World Cup stadium. Welcome to esports 2014 style, and welcome to ESL 1 Frankfurt! Absolutely terrific. Fantastic sized crowd already, making plenty of noise in the pre-show, but this is where it gets serious. Welcome to The Desk. They have the international, we have The Desk. And joining us on The Desk are some well-known faces from Dota 2. On my right-hand side, the very beautiful Bruno.
How are you doing, Paul?
You good? They love you.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. Look at these people. Everything's amazing. I said in the pre-show as well, but next to me, who do we have as well?
Yeah, we have another beautiful man. It's beautiful Ben Molini.
Thanks, Paul. Doing fantastically. I'm so glad to be here.
It's going to be great.
Yes.
And on the left-hand side, the equally beautiful, I'm trying to give them, you know, billing status the same way, is a man who has a very unusual nickname. He's 7 King Mad, which makes him something like the 7th Mad King. Which means I've just ruined all of the Game of Thrones books for you. It is Seb, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm so hyped to be here. It's going to be an awesome event. I just can't believe we got that for a Dota 2 event. It's completely incredible.
And last but not least, the man on the end, the man who's going to give us more grief than all of the other 3 guys put together. It's the one and only Malk. How you doing?
Hey Paul, thank you. This is going to be the most amazing event ever. We have some of the best teams in the world and an amazing crowd. Look at the size of this crowd, and people are still coming in. It's amazing.
It absolutely is. So we're going to start things off with IG versus Mouse. It's a very different kind of challenge, this one. We've got the Chinese team who arguably, guys, last year at the end of 2013, probably the best team on the planet. Sure, you could argue differently, but they were doing really well, winning everything. EMS won, of course, against what I guess we would say is the underdogs here, mousesports. Home team in many ways, hometown clan, of course, from Germany, and 2 players from Germany in the team, but they start off as the underdogs.
Oh, definitely the underdogs in this matchup. IG, I mean, they've won an international with almost the same lineup that they're presenting today, and they have just shown subliminal play sublime play in China lately, so I think...
Subliminal works as well.
Okay, I'll stick with both then.
Good.
But I mean, mousesports is really in for a hard challenge on this one.
Okay, Bruno.
I mean, if you look at the stats, IG has been performing really well. They won WPCAs 2014. mousesports has been really quiet for quite a while right now, but they have their chance to strike with this crowd that is absolutely going to be cheering for them because they're the home team.
Yeah.
They're still in their stages of infancy, though. IG's just been forever for way too long, and they have the experience behind them, and no one can really put IG as the underdog in this.
Okay. Seb, interesting parallels here, because you've got a team who are very aggressive,
Yep.
they're kind of, you know, the rats and the kids out on the street, you know, fighting to get through. If the early game is good for them, they could still show us an upset, but the longer this goes on, surely IG are the favourites.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, definitely mousesports are the underdogs here, but they're very aggressive, and they might surprise the Chinese powerhouse. I'm pretty sure they can cause an upset, especially in the best of 3. They have 2 shots minimum at doing that, so I would really expect them in that tournament. They're playing in their own country for Fara and Pass, and it's going to be... They have a great shot for that. I'm pretty sure they can cause an upset to IG.
All right, okay. We're going to find out what the panellists think the winner is going to be in this game, and it's not going to be a very big shock when we show you a little bit later on. But you guys at home and in the crowd right now, you can get out your stuff and you can go to the website, as we see Invictus Gaming on the screen right now with their lineup, and you can tell us all about which team you think's going to win. It's a very straightforward competition as well. You can also win some goodies as well. I'll show you what you can win a little bit later on. All you do is go to esl-1.com. Do it right now if you're in the stadium, and at home as well. Go there and you can be part of the predictions competitions and predict which teams you think are going to win each game. Now, go and vote right now, and a little bit later on in the programme, we'll show you what the power looks like in terms of who you voted to, and we'll compare it to the experts here on the desk a little bit later on as well. Bruno, initial thoughts on this match? I know we've talked a little bit about the 2 teams themselves, but How do you see this going? Are we looking at a straightforward 2-0? Is it 2-1? Is it going to be close? Is it going to be long?
IG are the favorite, and there's no way around this. However, if you think about the story of these two teams, even though mousesports is kind of a new team and they haven't played each other yet, both Misery and Paikat, they have been playing in China for a long, long time. And they know IG very well. They know how they played before, and I'm sure that they keep in touch with many of the other Chinese teams as well. So they have done the research. I heard it was about 80 hours of research, which is a good time. And after that, I think they might be prepared.
I think that was a little dig at me there, 80 hours, wasn't it?
What?
What?
No.
This is where the show gets awkward already. It's already got awkward, Bruno.
80 hours, not 80 years, Paul.
You're welcome, Paul.
We lasted all of 10 minutes. Damn it. Okay, we're going to look at some of the players a little bit more depth right now. First of all, we're going to look at IG. When we had rehearsals earlier on, production actually said, I think his name's Juan. So we've decided he's changed his name now, right?
It's Juan.
Okay,
Juan.
so we're gonna do that a little bit later. But we'll look at the two teams and we'll look at the players involved.
Yep.
Very shortly, we are going to get the players to come out on stage as well, so you can cheer for your favourite team. I think the roof's going to come off for mousesports, isn't it?
Hopefully. I think they could use all the support they can get, so I hope the crowd is going to back them up.
All right, okay. Quickly, just before we get ready for the players to come on stage, let's take a look at the brackets for you. For those of you who aren't aware, this is a single elimination tournament, so one chance only, and if you lose, you go home. So quarterfinals line up like this: Alliance versus Cloud9. We're going to kick off with Mouse versus Invictus, Vici Gaming versus Fnatic, and the final game of the evening, which we've already said, Bruno is stupidly excited like a child the night before Christmas Day, is Evil Geniuses versus Na'Vi.
Yay.
Yay. You're so excited.
I am.
You
I
are.
really am.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match.
Yeah.
It's the best for the last.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, talk to me about these players. What are they thinking? You've played in the international. You've played in high-pressure tournaments. What are they thinking right now out there?
I think IG, it's business as usual.
Okay.
They've been in so many tournaments now, especially in land settings. So for them, it's, just another day at the office. Whereas mousesports need to really, really prove their worth, and they're sort of new in a tournament setting with this constellation of players. So they have a lot more to show. But I also think coming in as the underdog, they might upset IG.
And speaking of IG, here they come, the guys.
A big rapturous applause for IG as they line up on the front of the stage. Well, you can hear the roar. I think we could barely hear ourselves in the stadium. That was a massive roar for mousesports. There is absolutely no doubt, I think, now that we know where the crowd favourites are for this one, don't we?
Yeah, it's totally IG, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah. Did you hear any differently?
No, not at all.
I think Misery looked happy about the support.
Yeah.
He seemed confident after that one.
Paikat has some swag to him.
He does.
He always does.
Yes.
Come on. He's like,
That's why they show him first.
yeah, absolutely. And that hair, I don't know how he keeps it always so perfectly. I think he did the same.
Right, before this moves into a style programme and you think you've tuned into some sort of weird Sunday morning programme, we're actually going to move on now and talk about some of the players in the two teams. We'll start with Invictus Gaming. There are three particular players that Bruno has picked out as part of his stats orientation on all of the stats. We'll start with the new nicknamed Juan Carlos. I don't know why we've nicknamed him that, but it came up early on in practice for some reason. Juan is a terrific player, Bruno.
Yeah, he's an amazing player. He's been like that since at least TI2 and even before that. But when people knew him for this great Enchantress player, this great jungler, right now his hero is a Mirana. Actually, is the reason, one of the reasons why IG is winning, and his Mirana support has been amazing with 13 wins in 16 matches.
Yes, Tron, you are on the stage and you are on the screen right now on a very, very big 400-metre screen, I might add as well. Another important player to the team, Ferrari 430, the only man in the team who has won, well, actually, not the only man, but the man who has won double the amount of money he needs to actually buy a Ferrari 430. I actually hope in some ways he's got one somewhere.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him stroll around his little Ferrari in China. I think they have the status in China especially to ride around in a Ferrari. And this guy definitely deserves it. Probably one of the best mid laners throughout all time.
Yep.
The pianist.
The pianist, indeed. Make sure you say that T on the end as well.
Yeah.
Melini, your thoughts on the two players that we've seen so far?
Ferrari is a legend. People will love him for his TA play. He pretty much plays everything in mid, and his Ember Spirit actually is kind of ridiculous. No one else in the Asian scene can play Ember Spirit like him. And Chuan, everyone likes to ban his Enchantress out, and if you don't, especially with an early game oriented team like Mouse, you might just lose in the first 10 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. The final man of the triple whammy as we're looking at IG is a man who is close to my personal heart because he's actually the man that I'm closest to in age, and it's YYF. He is 27 years of age, but still
half your age.
Still half my age and still at the top of his game.
Definitely. YYF, like since TI2, where he really had a breakthrough, and everyone realized that this guy is one of the leading carries on, or leading reasons for why IG is so strong, is still going strong. He's so very good at his game and a force to be reckoned with on the off lane.
Okay, we're going to switch attention now and talk a little bit about mousesports. They've been feisty, they've been aggressive, and they've played some fantastic games, not just in the qualifiers for ESL 1 Frankfurt, but across a number of different tournaments as well. I saw them, of course, at the Dream League recently, playing some spectacular stuff. So, introduce them. Start with Fata.
Okay, Fata, he's a mid player, and the interesting thing about this guy, her partner said he has a... Actually, he kind of looks like pass, but that's okay. His friend said he has a troll fetish, and it's not what you think. It's actually that he really likes to play the hero. And while we saw Troll about a year ago when he just came out, mousesports seems to be the only team that's picking it consistently, and he's doing amazingly well, over 80% win rate with that hero. And instead of going hard carry and just going the items that increase the damage, he goes for the mech and for the utility items. And that's great for the team.
Okay, the 21-year-old Pycat. I thought we might get a few cheers.
Pycat, long time player in the scene. Picked up a lot from LGD International, and I think they might have picked up the Troll from influences there. They like the solo Alchemist mid and just a lot of mech carriers in general. So I think the Asian influences, especially him and Misery's time there, have lent a lot to the team's current play style.
Yep. And our third man that we're looking at and focusing on of mousesports is a man from Denmark, Malk.
Yeah, very close to my own heart. We played on teams together, and Misery is one of those players that can play everything. He has played everything in his career now, and he's now back on support. And he's doing really well. I think he's one of the cornerstones of mousesports' success when they are successful. So definitely a player to watch out for.
Okay, I mean, we've talked a little bit, we've sort of skirted around it a little bit, but there are two guys on the team who have some experience in China. They know what they're kind of up against, but it's a little while ago now. So do you think that still has the impact?
I think with teams at this level, everyone knows everyone really in depth. In fact, I think EG, Evil Geniuses, might be the one that benefits the most right now because a lot of their players are fairly new. Despite their really good results, I mean, then they're still the newest team and the other teams won't know them as well as they do each other. So everyone else here is veterans.
Yeah, Seb, they have an advantage. The advantage of youth, perhaps. They are the youngest team, average age team here in the competition, just by a little bit, EG not too far away from them. But does that make it easier? Did you play better when you were younger in terms of more aggressive and more, maybe with less pressure on you? I mean, they're the underdogs after all. We've all said they're the underdogs, so no pressure really, but playing in front of this lot, that's a bit of pressure.
It's some pressure for sure, but being the underdog is always very comfortable in the sense that you can only be good results for you. And I mean, IG has some pressure, but I don't think as a Chinese team that they have really that much pressure. Like Miles said, it's really another day at the office. Like they're really used to those high tournaments. But on the other hand, I mean, mousesports, sure, they're the newest team, but they are veterans. They know those how to approach this kind of game. So
basically, what you're saying is, in your opinion, IG are overrated.
No, I would never say that. That's not my. I never say stuff like this. I just think that mousesports are the underdogs, but it's gonna give them the freedom to do whatever they want to try and to actually surprise IG. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they can take at least one game from IG. I'm looking forward to that.
Hold on to your horses, because we have had some selections made by our expert panel here. I'm the noob, by the way, in case you hadn't noticed. Hi. These guys have made selections for each of the matches that we're going to see this afternoon and this evening here in Frankfurt, and their predictions are these. Unsurprisingly, perhaps, all four men have gone for Invictus, so I think that deserves some more booing. I would also like to add that the noob here has gone for mousesports. Just saying.
But didn't own up to it.
Getting all those cookie points, Paul.
Yep.
I like that.
It's all those extra esports points I'm counting right now. So good luck to both teams, of course. First, before we get there, just quickly, why Invictus Gaming, Bruno?
Experience. They just been here over and over and over. They played in big tournaments. They are not scared, and they will execute just as if they were playing from the bedrooms.
Okay, Ben?
Mouse still in their fledgling stages, have a lot of upside, but now's not their time to shine. I don't think they'll take it.
The drafting. I think the drafting will be key in that series, and I do believe that EG has a better drafting so far.
Very good.
Highest level of skill, as Bruno said, experience, and they know how to take home a trophy.
Okay, let's find out from you guys, both the viewers at home and the people here in the middle of the audience, have you voted for? You've gone 65% for Invictus Gaming, only 45% for mousesports, and I think that entire 45% are actually in the stadium right now.
That's 110%.
Yeah.
Good maths, boys, good maths down there.
You can't go wrong with those stats.
So it's official, we now have 110% in the world.
Which is awesome when you think about it.
So are you surprised by that in any way? I mean, it's actually 55-45, so...
I mean, it has happened in the past. Teams picking a hero that has a 65% chance of winning and another 50% chance of winning, which net into an 115.
Are your stats going to be all wrong now that you can't count that high on your fingers?
Now my mind really is blown.
I know, right?
Statman in the corner there is actually throwing some stats at me, which I can't
That
cope
was
with.
a throwback to
Right.
2 years ago.
Okay.
Good memories.
Right. So, joking aside, you've all gone for Invictus, very confident about that. What happens if they go a map down?
I don't think they care.
Really?
I don't think they care.
Okay.
They just
Same.
pick their
They'll
stuff.
shake it off.
Some teams, they adjust your picks towards what you do. IG against mousesports, I don't think they're going to be one of those teams. They will just keep picking the same, doing what they know best. They will just go through.
They're
Okay.
super stable. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if the crowd here at the Commerzbank Arena and for you guys at home as well tuned in, we are moments away from picks and bans, and the draft is going to begin very shortly for game one here of the quarterfinals of ESL 1 Frankfurt. Just quickly while we're waiting, go through each of you. If you were playing right now, take me through what your procedure is. Are you nervous? Do you go through a ritual for it? Anything that you can share with us?
Every player is different. A lot of players thrive from the audience and really build up even more momentum, and other players get really nervous. So, I mean, Ben is probably one of those players that doesn't perform really well on LAN, whereas I am. I may not be as good online as Ben is.
Mr. Venom answer.
That was online.
Shots fired.
That was online.
That was online.
Christ, I'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, carry on. I'm just going to don the referee's black and white shirt at any point that this gets out of hand. I'm absolutely fine with you guys going at it. Do you
I
want to
think
swap
in IG's
positions,
case,
or?
they're all very good at handling themselves on LAN, whereas I need to watch some games with mousesports to really believe in them. They were just at DreamHack where they did actually decently in terms of execution, but they didn't really finish in any top position, whereas IG just comes off from a lot of wins recently.
Okay.
My
So-
only fear for mousesports is that they're very aggressive, right? And they're very good at this early game stage. So if they manage once again to dominate their opponent in the early game stage of the game, and they start at one point not being able to capitalize on that advantage, how will they react? If they stay calm and they keep their game going, they might take it. And if they don't, this is for me when they could be in trouble. So I'm looking forward to see how they're going to react to their own success, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned a little bit earlier on, Ben, that they have been very aggressive, mousesports, and when they were Team Dog, obviously, as well. If they can get something from the early game, do you think that gives them the momentum and maybe the confidence and the courage and maybe blocks the nerves down a little bit and makes them go forward? Or is this really, as Jacob has been saying, just a day at the office for IG?
I think it's more of a day at the office. I think morale is actually not that big of a factor for mousesports. Even if they get off to an early lead, IG, they can retain their composure. Their mid-game control is simply just much better than what Mouse has to offer, and I think IG will be able to react to Mouse's game much more quickly than Mouse can adapt to IG.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, Bruno and I have been doing a few stats lookups, and interestingly, in the latest patch, mousesports win rate is 67.3%. That's an extraordinary win rate, and you can't really say they've played terrible teams. I mean, some smaller teams, but not many.
You do have to remember that they actually played in the qualifiers. The qualifiers for TA4 didn't have the same exact competition as the other teams. So that might be a little bit padded right there. But let's give it what they do. Like, we were talking about the early game, and mousesports' early game is probably the best of all the teams here.
I agree.
their early game is so aggressive. The problem they have is, as you were saying later, is transitioning into the main game, because it feels like they're going into, okay, let's go all in, and if it's not working, let's go for the super late game.
Yeah.
So they have a very weak stage in the middle of the games, and that cost them quite a few. But we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit before we go into picks and bans about heroes. Mirana picked 23 times for IG, 17 wins, 6 losses. On the other side, Ancient Apparition, 22 games, 15 wins, 7 losses. So, I mean, does that give us an idea of where we're going right now?
I mean, definitely. I think Pieces of the Moon for the longest time now has been the support to eliminate, or at least the setups with it.
Okay, we are in the draft. Bruno.
Yeah. So we're going now into the draft, and we're going to keep here at the panel while we see the players looking for cheers. That's really amazing. We start pretty conventionally, I would say. IG, you're dire, you want that Lycan. If they're not banning it, you're taking it, because that early Roshan can be so important. But Ben, tell me about this Axe and Brewmaster just straight away. What do you think of it?
Axe is a pretty traditional pick against Lycan, at least recently, and he does very, very well if you can actually match up that lane. So IG will be looking to dodge the Lycan Axe lane in whatever way possible.
There's the Mirana we were talking about as well.
And that's what I'm questioning about Mouse's lineup right now. I mean, the Panda is a no-brainer. It's really, really dominant in every game we see these days. But they have the option to pick up the Pieces of the Moon, a hero they must know that IG likes playing a lot. So going with the Axe already seems a bit preemptive, because they would have had that Axe on the third pick as well. There was no way that IG was going to go with the Axe picks. So I'm actually questioning this a bit.
When you think about it, IG did ban the Troll Warlord, so that means that they did their homework about mousesports, and mousesports has been using Axe quite a lot on both the offlane and the jungle role. I mean, MSS is a great Axe, so is Misery. So I'm pretty sure mousesports was expected IG to ban that out after in the second phase. I mean, in the first phase it's a bit of an exaggeration, but in the second phase it's definitely viable. So that would explain the first pick Axe.
It's true. And both the Axe and the Brewmaster seem to be targeted to Lycan. You talked about the Axe, of course, with the call going through BKB, but in the laning stage, Brewmaster, sometimes if you put the Lycan mid, he's going to go such a bad time. Brewmaster destroys him in lane right now. And now we see a little bit of Twitch chat, but nothing to worry about. Hi guys from Twitch chat, we love you.
Yeah, hi Twitch chat.
But that mischance, and it's kind of the same as with Troll. You put some mischance on Lycan, and suddenly he becomes from this scary wolf into this little puppy that just cannot hit you. So we'll see what happens with that. Lycan neutralize, it's going to be all about the Mirana, but with the Mirana support, IG can still pick a couple more carries. And do you guys have any idea or any prediction core that's going to come from IG right now?
Not so much the core, but I'm hoping to see the Shadow Shaman. I'm just one of my biggest... I'm the biggest fan of Faith, basically. And his Shadow Shaman play is always really, really nice to watch. So I'm hoping they pick that. There's really other good options for them, with Bane and Rubik and Shadow Demon setups for the Pieces of the Moon. But I hope they go for the Shadow Shaman.
It's interesting, actually, when you look at the picks and bans that they've had in 681. Shadow Shaman hasn't been picked once yet. Not once.
What?
No.
That's
That
really
can't
weird,
be
right?
No, that can't be right, because if you look at IG, they actually picked him 13 times and won
They beat DK with it.
I'm talking about mousesports, of course.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad.
Don't worry about that.
I really like the Shadow Demon pick here. They deny it from IG, and it's a great pick for them to have for mousesports, obviously. When I think about that Brewmaster pick, like when you first pick Lycan as Dire, you want to contest Rosh, right? You want to abuse that Roshan advantage. And Brewmaster is one of the best heroes to fight early on, right? And to deny them that 10-minute Roshan or whatever minute they try to go for. So I think that mousesports draft right now is kind of like very, very smart against what IG is planning.
Yeah, and Demonic Purge is really, really good against carry heroes in general.
Not Lycan though.
Yeah, but
not Lycan in particular, but he still gets...
You can force his ultimate quite early.
Yeah, that's
There is, well, we're talking about stats and what have you. Shadow Shaman for IG picked 14 times in 681. How many wins, Bruno?
14, baby.
Absolutely, baby.
That's 100% win rate.
It's ridiculous. No, it's 120%.
Okay.
Remember from earlier on?
Of course.
That would have been one of my bans going into the second ban phase, definitely.
It stands out, doesn't it? It's one of the ones you just go, no, we have to get rid of that.
Okay, now I'm a little bit concerned, because we see the Pagna. The Pagna plus the Lycan will mean a lot of pushing coming from IG. And the interesting part of this, it can be a 5-man push, and it can be split push, because Lycan can do that. Now, right now, if you look at mousesports lineup, they don't have the greatest counter pushing in terms of, they can clear the creep wave, but once they're there popping blast, what are you going to do? Just like battle hunger people?
Yeah, right now they only have Shadow Poison.
The things that
They have Brewmaster Ultimate. You can't forget about that. That's one of the strongest teamfight spells in the first 25
It's not
minutes of the
really
game.
your usual counter push.
No,
spell,
but
though.
it's a way of kind of pushing if you're going to fight them, right? And not letting them take down the tower. The problem of IG right now is that when, like, mousesports is going to jump on them with Axe Dagger and Brewmaster Dagger, right? And IG has nothing to control them. So they're going to get everything they want, at least from the team fight. And they will initiate only if they think they can win the fight. So right now, IG is looking to get some AoE control. Else, in my opinion, they're in trouble.
I think they're going for the Shadow Shaman. It synergizes well with Pugna and Lycan in taking down towers. It'll give them that much needed disable. He's really, really good against the Brewmaster simply because of Hex. It'll give you a long time to take it down with.
That's AoE control. That's a great pick for IG.
That's also a great pick. This means they're probably not going for the Shadow Shaman in them having 2 supports now. Assuming the Priestess of the Moon is being played support, we might still see a carry bottom.
Yeah, that's actually true. And again, Pugna, we talk about his spells and you have the Blast and the Ward, seems the 2 most important. But when you think about the Decrepify, again, things like Axe, okay, Axe taunts one of your teammates, you just decrep him, and he will pretty much take no damage at all because he won't be able to attack. So that will be useful as well. And again, Decrep into Echo Slam, into Fissure, that can result into a lot of damage. All these 3 last heroes, except the Lycan, from IG has a lot of magical damage potential, and we might see some good interesting thing about that. But we do see the Leshrac, and if Shadow Demon plus Mirana is one of the best combos, Shadow Demon plus Leshrac goes pretty close, doesn't it?
I think it's better actually.
Even better, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the most classic setups that you have on the support lane. It's also really good against the push because of the buff to lightning. That also slows them down now. I'm a bit concerned with the Nether Ward from the Pugna.
Is this an offensive try-in from mousesports?
Yeah, I think so. We've seen it's one of the teams that consistently try lane aggressively, as you were saying, and I think we can definitely expect that with an Axe and a Shadow Demon.
And probably some roaming on the mid lane. With, like, this support duo is one of the best to roam around the map and get some early kills. It's the earlier game aggression we talked about. That's classic mousesport here, in my opinion.
It's one of the combinations that has the biggest failure rate also, because a lot of the times the Leshrac won't be on point with the stun. We see it at all levels happen. So they really need to get these stuns off.
What are they going to pick for their safe lane now? Like, Weaver-ish?
Yeah, I don't think Weaver is a bad pickup here by any means, especially with we were saying earlier, there's not a lot of control on IG's side of things. So shutting down a Weaver right now is really, really hard.
I don't particularly like the Earthshaker pick from IG. It doesn't seem to offer enough. He's really clunky, especially before he gets his Blink Dagger, and I don't really know how he's going to find the space to find the Blink Dagger.
But that's the thing, when you look at the team that mousesports has, you don't have to initiate on them, you just have to be the counter initiator. So even if you don't get that Blink
This
Dagger...
screams aggression from mousesports. Picking up a bounty hunter, you just want to fight, you want to get all the kills possible, and
this
just...
reminds me, EG did that a long time ago, didn't they? That they don't go for hard carry, they just get the bounty hunter and they're like, we're gonna fight, we're gonna get those
that's a long time ago. This is not the EG that we know today.
No, it's your
this
EG.
is back in my day.
Yeah, your EG, yeah.
That's a roaming support for sure. They're just going to be running 3 solo heroes and giving them kills. Like, it's solo heroes that all have killing potential, right? With Axe, Bounty Hunter, and Brewmaster. So there's going to be a
will
lot
only
of
really have a problem if he's up against the Pugna. So he'll have a fairly easy time on the lane.
Yep.
So guys, quickly, as we're going into the last pick, who has the best draft so far?
I would say mousesports.
I think mousesports has the one that they are most comfortable with. I still, like Ben was saying, the Earthshaker pickup, I'm not on board with it.
It looks weak.
I really like it. To be honest, I really like it. I think they need control. When that Brew is going to jump, if they can stop him from ulting right away and burst him down with... They have huge
They can't burst him down. They have Shadow Demon.
Their last pick might give them that chance. I really like... They needed an AoE control, in my opinion.
There's that, but also
think that
Shadow Shaman would have offered that same situation. In fact, the Earthshaker will actually have, like, he has a long stun duration time. Yeah, he
We
has a
might
long
still
vision.
see a Shadow Shaman. As you said before, it could be a Carry Mirana.
Yeah, and I would really love to see that. I still think it's doable. There's the trend of Priestess of the Moon on the support.
I would really
but
bet
she can
that
easily go into carry.
the Shaker pick is going to pay off. I would really bet on that.
Oh, there we go.
That's Shadow Shaman.
Awesome.
High five.
So, there we go then. Thank you very much, gents. The draft is complete. Let's go over to the commentary team for game number 1 of ESL 1 Frankfurt. Your commentary team are Toby 1 and Cinderin.
Thank you very much, Paul. It is great to be here in Frankfurt. Myself, Toby 1, joined by Cinderin. We love the crowd. We love being in such a stadium as well, Sin. It's the biggest crowd we've ever cast for, that any Dota 2 casters can cast for. I feel special.
Yeah, I feel special too, and it's I don't really know what to say at this point already. I'm overwhelmed with the amount of people here and how excited they are about the game, and it makes me that much more excited myself. So I actually think we should jump right into the game because we have a few things to talk about right away. I think so. If you would introduce mousesports first, I think that would be a good idea.
Matt, I'd love to, because really the mousesports lineup, it's their home crowd here. I know a lot of football fans out there, they go and say, hey, like, everything's about the home crowd of fans. You got the crowd cheering for you the entire time. And, well, they were. We came out the main stage before and, like, you just cheer for mousesports straight away. But let's run through their lineup and where they're actually going to lane this one up. Obviously, you talk about mousesports, and they're an aggro team. They're a very, very aggressive team. And they are basically led by their captain. So Pycat, their main drafter, you got Misery, Fader, he's spectacular in the middle lane. MSS will be there in as a Brewmaster. That puts Puss up as the Shadow Demon, and that leaves our last one. Yeah, actually, it's Fader over as the Bounty Hunter. I take it back right now, and it's MSS as the Brewmaster. But either way, the mousesports lineup, I'm looking forward to them being aggressive, looking forward to them playing the way they love to play, which is up in the face. The Axe is like, it was a bold statement when they picked it up at the very, very start, is saying, you know what, IG, we don't care if you're the favorites, we don't care if everyone's voting up against us, we're going to get in there. And I know this crowd's right behind him, because really, guys, how many of you here from mousesports? How many want to cheer for the Germans?
And the ones cheering for mousesports will, I guess, indirectly be cheering against IG. So let's introduce that team as well. In the top lane, we're going to have Faith, the captain drafter, playing as the position 5 Shadow Shaman. We've got Chuan on the Earthshaker. He is incredible when he's playing Rubik against Earthshaker, so I'm guessing he's just as incredible as the Earthshaker himself. We've got Luo, also known as XI, playing as the Mirana. Then in the mid lane, it's going to be Ferrari, 430 on the Lycan, and finally in the off lane, it's going to be YWF on Pugna. And I know the Germans are the home crowd here, etc., but I'm curious to hear if there's any fans here that are also cheering for the Chinese boys from IG. Anyone? Slightly biased,
That's
I
not
guess,
bad.
But
that's not bad. They might become fans over the weekend. There's a lot of Dota to come. We've got 2 great Chinese teams also that managed to qualify themselves in through both the Chinese qualifier directly as well as through the secondary qualifier, which also included the teams from Southeast Asia. So there was a long qualifier these guys had to go through to get to this point. But both IG and VG Gaming are going to show us some amazing Dota. And I know, like, the last ESL event I got to cast for Dota 2, the EMS 1, like, that was when VG Gaming came in and they destroyed the entire European scene with their own style, with this double over aggressive style play. And man, I'm interested to see how IG and VG Gaming like come to the table as well. Like, even when the first 2 bans, you saw them ban out against what's just signature heroes from mousesports, up against heroes like Troll Warlord. It's a very different style for them. They've got to get used to it. They've got to get comfortable here on the main stage as well, being in front of so many people. It's the largest event in all of Europe and America that Dota 2 has ever had. And, well, actually, the Chinese are more prepared for that because the Chinese crowds are huge.
yeah, the mental aspect is one thing.
Top lane. Here's your first initiation. SE Disruption. Let's track forward, but Luo! Very, very quick on that leap. The split earth was only a microsecond too late. And it opens up the gap to get himself further away.
And I want to talk about this a little bit because there's one thing is about all the pressure from the crowd, etc. But IG have got to be coming in with a lot of confidence. They've won 2 grand finals in a row in 2 Chinese tournaments that I had the pleasure of casting recently, and they were so good at drafting. It's something that Matt was talking about in the on the desk, and I want to bring up here again how intelligently IG have gone about this, and actually how Mouse has chosen to adapt as well. So IG were expecting that aggressive trial line that the desk were talking about with Leshrac, Shadow Demon, and probably the Axe was the 3rd hero they would expect in the top lane. And because of that, they put the Lycan mid. They don't want him to lane against Axe, but Mouse figured that out and put the Lycan mid. But as a result, IG are laning a Mirana top, who is very hard to kill for this Mouse combo lane, and it's just a very good solution here.
Good fish shot. They've actually separated Pass right now, and he's just going to cut himself into the fog of war. Turns to the disruption. Misery's he's actually in range for this. Hits the stun. The arrow flies a little bit astray. Face low and light. Passes backing up. Misery with the extra attack damage from the illusions. Wasn't enough to kill off Faith, but they try and chase it up. MSS, he's got a lot of movement speed with him. Boots first and high movement speed. But they will be zoned back out. They're coming too close towards that tier 1 tower, and they have to be just a little bit more safe there.
You can see how hungry Mouse are to get this first blood. MSS, that was almost, I think that was a little bit over-aggressive and unlikely to happen, but he's trying for whatever opening he can find there. Didn't find it. IG's positioning on the lane is very good. And this, I want to talk a little bit about the Earthshaker because the panel was a little split in that regard. As we might see an arrow here, not going to connect though. Good fissure from Chon, but didn't manage to connect with Luo. But oh wow, yeah, that mid lane.
It's the middle lane which I thought was like where I was hoping you were going to go, man, because Pycat and Ferrari are basically going hammer and tongs underneath that tier 1 tower.
And this is, okay, to quickly to finish off on the top lane, the reason the Shaker pick is going to be really good here is they knew how mousesports wants to play so aggressive early game, so they just tried to pick a time, basically a stalling hero in that Earthshaker, who can buy them time to play safely in the lane and get toward that mid game in which IG are easily the favorites here. And you're right, this mid lane is probably where most stuff is going down right now. Actually, Pycat's going to hit the Berserker's
Ferrari, spin it! Spin it!
Oh.
He's not close enough! 23 life points Ferrari will escape on. He needed the RNG gods to basically bow to Pycat, but the Swede doesn't get lucky on it.
Yeah, pseudo-random now instead of fully random. It's very unlikely to get multiple spins in a row now because it is a pseudo-random ability in contrast to the fully random ability it used to be. And of course this means if you get lucky and get a couple of helixes, the chance drops. If you get unlucky and you don't get any, the chance increases. So over the course of an entire game, you will have the 17% chance. But to make it more stable and more reliable, the pseudo-random has been included on this ability as well, which a lot of stun bash abilities have and other chance abilities in the game as well.
Well, it's really great now for Pycat with his middle lane. Like, he's basically got victory. The Courier's coming out with his Tranquils and an extra clarity too, so he can keep his mana up, so he's ready for these calls. But you look at Ferrari and you wonder, what is the options he's really got before him? You want to come in and harass with Wolves, you got the chance then to be spun. And your Wolves can just evaporate inside of all of this. And then you've got himself as well. He comes in close, he's melee hero, so all he can basically do is just try and farm up the CS on the sides, but even then, that puts himself at risk, because the Berserker's calls we saw before. It can make it so Ferrari, who thinks he's really, really safe, finds himself just slightly overextended, and with a good chance, he goes down. And with Pycat getting very, very close to level 6 as well, he's a full level above that of Ferrari 430 right now. Once the Culling Blade's up and running, Ferrari has to be even more cautious there in the lane. And then okay, let's ask ourselves about another lane. We haven't even looked at this one just yet, because we're also worrying about the first blood and top lane and missing that. But it's the bottom lane. We've got the Bounty going up against a Pugna. We're running an off-lane Pugna up against a safe-lane Bounty. I cannot remember a time when I saw this matchup.
It was IG's initial solution was that they put the Shaker down here and blocked the first wave, so YYF got off to a head start, and he's really been making great use of it. He's up 23 CS against 11 on the Bounty. It is also a lane I would say favors the Pugna. He's got better base damage, or actually they've got similar base damage, but he's range and has really good harassment. So IG love running this off-lane Pugna, actually, sometimes alone, sometimes in tri lanes, and it generally pays out very well for them. And in this game, he's against a Shadow Demon and Leshrac, who are just... They have really high mana costs when they want to use their spells in fights, so they're going to be killing themselves to that Nether Ward. But one thing about the mid lane that we haven't talked so much about is that generally... Oh, here we go, Chuan's coming in!
This will be first blood right now. You got a call on 2 though. Needs a couple more spins. The Fidget will go. The spins keep going. Pycat! Dunks on 1! Dunks on 2! The first blood becomes a double! And Axe is buffed up. Faith is still here. There won't be any extra spins for him, but Pycat, the smoke gang came from the Chinese, and it just turns on a knife.
That is insane. How often do you see a 3v1 gank turn out as a 2-0 for the solo hero? And this is what, I was actually going to bring this up right before it happened. The one problem IG has, they actually put lanes to try to deal with the Axe, but they have really bad supports for ganking mid. Shaker and Shadow Shaman together, yes, they've got a lot of disable, but not good damage. They're going to go again,
disruption, capture. A mid-pulse comes out from Pycat. At the same time, the Split Earth is coming down from Misery. I know Pycat was having some problems with communication before. He had his audio dropping out, so I assume that's the reason why this is happening. It's just the time of it. There's very little safety, though, coming. Like, that's a major problem right now. Like, where is the support going to come? And mousesports can actually see clearly up, actually not that clearly up towards the tower, so they might have to be a little bit more careful inside that fog of war. They might be very uncertain about that. But while we've got ourselves some moments in, let's actually just analyze the point of what is the rest of the team meant to be bringing. You got Ferrari 430, now real trouble because he's completely lost the mid lane. How is YYF meant to influence this game and help IG get back in top?
So what IG has been doing a lot recently is that they've been playing lineups that are exceptionally good at taking towers in the mid game. You've got a team with Shadow Shaman. When he reaches level 6, he's got Mass Serpent Wards, you've got Pugna with the Nether Blast, and you've got Lycan with the Wolves. So your ability to force fights and siege towers is really, really good for IG. And when Mouse try to counter-initiate into that, they will be fighting into a Nether Ward and a Shaker with Fissure. It's a very good defense. It's like a passive-aggressive kind of composition they're running here. When you want to push towers, you will succeed if the enemy team doesn't defend, but at the same time, they're going to have a hard time defending against the team fight from IG. So it's very important here for mousesports that Axe comes off to a good start, especially they're running a lineup without a carry. I don't know if the desk really even mentioned that, but the biggest carry on mousesports would be Leshrac if he was played in a core position, which he isn't. Bounty Hunter maybe can be a carry, but he is generally a semi-carry that sets another carry up for the late game by giving gold. So IG getting further into this game, if Mirana gets farm, if Lycan gets farm, I think just their composition plays better in the mid game. They also have a natural Hex from Shadow Shaman, which is an amazing late game ability. Never underestimate that. And to me, this is obviously an amazing start for Mouse with level 8 Axe in the middle lane, who's going to have a fast Blink Dagger. But I think this very much will come down to what happens when IG get levels on the supports and Roshan fights and tower fights happen. That's when Mouse need to really, really bring their A game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're going to need to have a lot of fun to be prepared before that point even arrives. Like, the ability to have IG throw everything they've got at you and you can stand there and tank it. But with Axe and Brewmaster, that's not going to be that hard of a job to do. But mousesports, it's their style. It's their style. And now we get like the start of the killing coming up. We kind of haven't even like felt on the effect of Bounty Hunter when he comes out of the lane, because he got really fast levels, which means we'll be looking at a very early level 2 track as well, which is a lot of bonus money coming in, and this will just fuel the strength they really require. It looks like Pycat. Okay, is Pycat? Okay, no. I thought for a moment he's got his headset back on again. It looks like he's a little bit more comfortable, ready to go.
All right, so I've got a question for you.
Yep.
Which button do you think Luo has his finger on right now?
Luo? Well, I don't know what keys he's using, if he's on Legacy or not.
It's actually the same key anyway.
It's still Leap?
Yes,
is Leap?
It is. We're going to see
Here
if
we
he
go,
makes it.
back into the game, and
Yes,
the
he
straight
does.
Leap away. So no problems whatsoever. Luo gets himself away to safety. The follow-up split earth, they kind of actually looked like it was in mid-animation, but either way, the stun doesn't actually connect, and we get back into the game.
We're going to see a rotation here from IG. They might be up for this.
They've also de-warded up. This is a very good thing. I don't know if IG knew about it at the very, very start, but with both an Observer Ward here and a Sentry Ward here, mousesports basically knew 100% of the time if IG were watching them and where their movement was coming. And it was just far enough back that it's not in a position where a normal Sentry Ward, where you're looking for like this rough area to get intel here with an Observer Ward, like the ward was just in a different position. But now IG, they've got the map vision control on this top lane. Just at the same time where YYF's lost his ward in the bottom. This is going to be really problematic here. Fate is going to attack him now and slow him down. Lashrag's done, too far away. That's very, very late attack. I thought the Janata hit would be... Actually, maybe he was waiting for Janata to come off cooldown.
Pugna is a very innately fast hero. He's got a great base movement speed with 320. It's one of the highest in the game, actually, so... actually, I heard a Berserker's call.
Yeah,
I guess he missed it.
He was pulling Ferrari in the creep wave away from the tier 1 tower, so he's got a little bit more space to farm, because Ferrari's basically trying to do aggro pulling right now by attacking directly towards the hero. And now top lane, Fissure, Decrepify, Arrow, ST Disruption comes in from Pass with the catch as well. MSS, he's blocked in at the moment, goes for the clap, but the Pugna ward actually kills him off. Which means the clap doesn't go because you expend the mana beforehand, so you take the damage before the ability is used.
And let's see how long this tower lasts, unless maybe the Shadow Poison from Pass. No, he's out of mana. He can't use it anymore, so I actually think IG will be able to take the tower. These Pugna Nether Blasts, the damage they deal it's insane. On level 4, it deals 162.5 damage per cast. That's more than 10% of the tower's health on every use.
Support's coming in,
man. They've got siege creeps as well. This tower is a goner. The question is, can Mouse get a deny or a team fight off of it? I don't think so. IG,
they're too fast.
Big rotation here, getting the kill as well as the tower, and...
They even dragged Pycat off the mid lane.
Yeah, and they dragged away the Bounty Hunter as well. He's not showing in the bottom lane, so IG have to know that he's up to some snuff here, and we'll see if they can find one.
Oh, they're going to have a crack here at middle lane. Ferrari is his blind spot. We're checking the Fog of War just out, and Pycat goes in for the call. The mana is high enough, and he gets the Culling Blade off in the mid. So the third kill now for the Swede. At the same time, both Luo as well as Faith were rotating in towards that middle lane to try and actually help Ferrari out, because now they just go from tower to tower. IG know they can force basically each
Luo.
tower. Is he going to try and have a crack at it?
Oh, we might. I'm a little surprised to see Pycat going for the Vitality Booster. I think going for a Vanguard here is actually a good choice, but I was expecting, just when you have such a good early game, you often see Axis go like, wow, I can get a 7-minute blink, I'm going to do that. But Pycat wants to play just a frontline tanky hero that's very hard to bring down. He does not have the initiation power of the Blink Dagger, but on the other hand, in these team fights, maybe he's just acknowledging the fact that IG's damage right now is actually really that scary. So if he has a Vanguard, he can stay alive through all of their abilities perhaps, and put a lot of pressure, because he knows Lycan is the hardest physical hitter right now, but he can't fight into him. So I really like this choice actually this time around for Pycat.
Yeah. Also something too which Pycat does a hell of a lot. No points up in Battle Hunger. Doesn't look for the extra movement speed, as he's now getting really nailed here. Draining it back, he's like, screw it, let's just fight. Misery's come in to help out. He does have Split Earth available, but they're just out of range for the animation timing they would require. Yeah, but Pycat, he doesn't get any points up in Battle Hunger, so he's not looking for the extra harassment or any kind of movement speed. He puts all of his mana and strength into the Call and the Culling Blade and healing. So that's all he's looking for.
He's going to get 1 point in Battle Hunger in level 10 just to get the movement speed, and the movement speed slow for the enemy, and then he's going to max stats, I think. That's the most common build that Axis go for, so we're going to see YYF doing some good
this time
damage.
for Misery, he's got to try and hit, but Chuan again blocks him out with this fissure, but in comes the extra help. Fader from the rear with a double damage, and there's Pycat. Where's the bounty hunter that gets the kill? The Shuri toss at level 3 is enough, and MSS blinks into the clap. He doesn't have mana for an ultimate though, even after using his stick. They need to have some arcane boots here in the middle lane to keep this mousesports lineup moving forward.
And would you look at Ferrari? Would you look at Ferrari? This is what happens when you get countered hard in lane. He's resorted to a very unusual way of farming a Lycan at 10 minutes in, going down to the enemy jungle. He's actually going to find an illusion rune right now, which Mouse were heading down for, and yeah, they're not going to find him. They're going to see the rune is gone, and they know Lycan was here, so...
Yeah, Lycan basically flagged himself. The second pass actually TP'd the bottom lane. He was at level 4, and was searching for some farm, was searching for some levels, and he just shifted himself down there to find some farm. Ferrari was almost instantly in the same lane at the same time, because he was searching for some space as well. He's not feeling it that much on top lane, and he also needs to make sure that Mirana does find farm. While the Mirana core is still a fun hero to get, it takes a lot of farm to get the items to make up for her lack of base damage increase.
And it's pretty amazing to see Ferrari. If you bring up, yeah, you're looking at the net worth. That's great, because he's been killed twice in the mid lane. He lost his lane hard, and he's still third on net worth. He's ahead of the 2 other cores on mousesports. Of course, Axe is the big leader here, but the next 3 on the net worth are RG, even though they're behind 4-1 on kills. That tower kill, as well as the good farm they've been able to find, is actually keeping them in a pretty good position in this game. It's pretty much dead even on gold, but experience 2,000 in the favor of mousesports at this point.
Man, Pycats are racing down this tier 1 town. There's also a lot of heroes that have been missing on the map. With the double smoke basically coming out, it's very difficult as well for IG to succeed with smoke ganking, mainly because you've got an Invis bounty hunter running around. So unless you're carrying dust and you've always got a straight up lockdown, it's very, very difficult to win out here. And now the fact that mousesports also see the Nether Ward, they want to get rid of this one. A little bit further down, the fissure actually keeping Fader away. So he attacked once, got the track off, and then backed himself up. And MSS with his Blink Dagger ultimate might be looking for an opening somewhere, but they're being pressured a little bit too much on the top lane as well, so mousesports are having to check behind them, just as Mirana pressure is already attacking the tier 2 tower.
IG knew that Brewmaster was coming there. They actually pinged him out before he moved in because, well, there's nobody in the top lane. Luo is putting pressure up there. So Mouse's movement in that situation was actually pretty predictable for IG. And if there's one thing I've noticed about IG recently that they're really good at, it's reading movement. They're amazing at figuring out that ganks are coming. So in this game so far, yes, they've died a couple of times on the lanes, but the trades they've been taking, they've lost 4 heroes and they've taken 2 towers. That's a good trade. Their movement has been better. They've been more effective on their lanes. And because of that, Mouse, even with a very farmed Axe, they're still going to be trailing on gold now. And they're so hungry for kills because they know the track is what's going to keep them in this game, is going to allow them to play without a carry. So they've drafted themselves into a position of pressure. Here we go.
They jump on Faith. The mech will come off from YYF. The Brewmaster split goes as well. He's actually looking to send the Pugner up, but he couldn't get close enough with the Storm Brewling. So they just kill off the Shadow Shaman and then added pressure towards the tier 1 tower. The question is going to be, where is the response from Invictus Gaming? Imagine they're in a little bit more trouble. Pugner up in the air, back down again. The call from Pycat. Sentry Wars, nowhere to hide inside the Moonlight Shadow. Looking for the dunk too early there from Pycat. They're still able to get the kill, however, with low life and a couple of supports of mousesports. Pycat still remains in the front lines to tank it up. Luo may be able to find an opening. Fader, yes, should hit by the arrow, but does not go down. And Luo's going to retreat back out of his own jungle.
So, and again, this this is another case of what we've seen so far in this game where mousesports are trading kills for objectives. It's great that you're getting kills, but if you're not converting it into anything bigger, it's generally not that good. And this time around, they trade 2 kills for 1 and they lose Roshan. Ferrari was sneaking it the whole time while Mouse had all their eyes on mid. They completely forgot about the Lycan, I guess, because he was not there in that fight. So it makes you wonder, okay, where was Lycan? There's kind of only one option here. And IG, they're going to be more than happy with this trade. They're actually all grouping up in mid right now with the mech completed on YYF and the Aegis on the Lycan. They might be ready to take their 3rd tower of the game, this mid tier 1.
Yeah, they also have the Mass Serpent Wards up for the Shadow Shamans. They got him to hit level 6, which means now IG can really force the issue a lot more than they were before. This Nether Ward, it must go down, but if you get them that close, you're going to actually lose out. In fact, look at this Lycan Morph being a bit of a nuisance around the back. They want to know exactly how much support and mousesports are investing into this one. Now, Trackstar, and there's a jump in by Pycat. He starts the call, but Decrepify stops him from attacking. He's not even spinning as well. He's too deep in. The arrow into MSS. There's no split on this Brewmaster. He's going to be so careful. He goes down, no evasion. Misery's also dying to Wolves right now. The Chinese, they're starting to really rampage down. Ferrari into his ultimate form, his high movement speed, searching for pass as well. Luo's already got himself a double kill, and now they're going to find him. They've got to search in the trees, and it's not safe. The arrow from Luo will connect. SD Disruption saves him from the blast, but it's just wasting some time now. It's a triple kill coming in for Luo. Ferrari, well, Pycat, he's coming back in here. Fader as well. The Drain, though, forcing him out. The Drain that keeps going with the fidget from Tuan. It's an ultra kill from Luo. Fader is able to get himself away to safety. But they don't lose Aegis. They take the tier 1 tower in middle lane, and they get an ultra kill into a Mirana. Let her feast on the corpses.
I don't think IG could have won that fight any bigger. That's like the perfect outcome. They get 4 for 0. They get all the kills on the precision 1 carry in the Mirana. They get the tower, which didn't get denied, I believe. So everything just going IG's way there. And I think both times Axe blinked in here, Pycat, I think he's a little over-aggressive. Oh, yeah, they're going to get a kill here on Faith. Oh, he dodges that. He's still going to go down.
It's enough damage.
Yeah.
The movement speed with the face boost from Fade is going to allow him to keep up with it at all.
The problem in that fight in the mid lane for mousesports is that I think Pycat is just a little overzealous here. He jumped in alone. The follow-up just wasn't really there. And very, very quick hex as well, by the way, coming out from the Shadow Shaman.
And then they jumped in with Brewmaster as well, who
he
had
got insta-hex and no split.
Yep.
So
it was on cooldown because they did it at the last fight.
And then the second jump in from Pycat, he willingly jumped into a 2v5.
Yeah.
That's not going to end well when the enemy team is full health. So might need to play a little bit more careful, but that's just not the mousesports style.
But this is the gamble they knew they were going to take. When you pick an Axe in the first set, and you sit there going, hey, we're going to go aggro tri-lane. Like, you know what they're going to do when they first pick up that Axe. They try to play a mental game here with IG. The problem is when you start playing a game which is just like reliant on you winning team fights, having greater positioning, and just basically showing better player skill, and you're going up against Invictus Gaming, they're going to match you like dot for dot. You're going to have a lot of trouble trying to fight up against that. Now, Invictus Gaming basically slapped it back for it all. Now, MSS, at least this time around, mousesports have their ultimates they can work with. That's their major upside. But they want ganks. They want like little pickoffs here and there. But they're not really finding that. Now, maybe with a jump through the rear, the tower goes down, the fissure is already over an MSS, the arrow flies in, SD Destruction will save him. Axe is considering the movement down there, but MSS the Starfall in one attack. Luo gets yet again another kill. And Pycat, indecisive about if they even wanted to try and fight that.
This was a good choice from Misery here to split push. They knew they were going to lose that tier 2 tower down in the bottom lane, and he traded it for the top tier 1. Leshrac with 2 points in Diabolic Edict was able to bring it down, so at the very least getting a trade. But the problem is, Mouse didn't draft this lineup to play from behind. They drafted it to play from ahead, and that time has pretty much... It's over in
It was nice knowing you Fader as well.
Yeah.
Fisher, he's on the other side, but it doesn't matter. YYF just...
Get bursted.
Decrepify, Pugna Blast, and a level 2 mana drain, which is also being buffed up. That's a point booster already over on Pugna, so the Aghanim Scepter is his item of choice. This is a really rough time. But man, one thing you're saying, like mousesports, they don't play from behind, but one thing they can do, and this is one thing which is good for Pycat, he can just jump in here, he's just creep skipping. So Invictus Gaming have to worry always just to look behind them to see if the damage takes some chip damage, the towers take some chip damage. But at the same time, that's not going to push anywhere near as fast as a Lycan, as well as a Pugna, who are also working their way to level 3 Necro books. After, of course, the Aghanims on Pugna.
And what mousesports would be able to do now in this case, if it weren't for the Pugna, they would still be able to take team fights on their terms, perhaps, with an Axe blinking in and a good Brewmaster jump, but The thing is, if the Nether Ward is up, Lishrak can't really play his hero to his full extent. Let's have a look at his mana cost and his abilities right now. It's 100 on Split Earth, 120 on Edict, 120 on Lightning Storm, and 110 on Pulse Nova plus 20 per second. You're fighting that into a Nether Ward. If you cast all of your spells once, you're on less than half HP on that Lishrak. And the Shadow Demon,
Jump time.
kind of the same story.
Ferrari on the top lane. It's MSS as well, and the Split Earth. They're all trying to kill off Ferrari. He's still got Open Form available, and the Aegis Immortal.
Oh.
So they dunk him down, but it's only the Aegis taking a fall. While IG, they're searching for pass. Fisher to set up, Arrow to follow in. YYF, the Echo Slam came as well. Chuan throwing the kitchen sink at him.
He really wanted to secure that kill. And if you're IG, I think it's the right call as well. Just use all your abilities to make sure you get that one kill, because mousesports, as far as team fights go, they want to be all 5 there. If they are to fight into this IG lineup, they have to all be there. And better safe than sorry on these kills. Chuan is actually getting fairly close to a Blink Dagger. It's not the fastest Blink Dagger in the world, but I think he's been doing a lot of the supporting, and he's got 8 assists and no kills, and Arcane Boots with 8 CS only, so it generally takes a while. And I guess if you could say, if there's a region of the world that's the best at playing Earthshaker without Blink Dagger, I think it's China. They have so much experience from the past with playing these passive Earthshaker games where Earthshaker's sometimes level 4 in a 30-minute game. No exaggeration, actually, that has happened before. And they've won those games just by using Fissure. And Chuan is not going to mind playing as a little underfarmed, I guess you could say. It's totally fine.
And this smoke movement now, MSS jumps up. Luo's already used his sleep, which means Pyke can get the call here. The stun as well, and that Lishrak Lightning. 4 levels up in it. They look for the first damage.
That's 924 gold going for pass here, in addition to the track bonus and a tier 1 tower. This is the kind of stuff that mousesports needs to pull out if they want to come back into this game. That's a huge kill. That was basically about a 2,000 gold swing right there in 30 seconds.
Yeah, where with track on top of that, as well as the gold you take and the tower you take on top of all of that, and the amount of heroes they committed to it, so everyone gets the bonus 50. Yeah. That's a big loss there for Invictus Gaming. At the same time, though, they are a very, very long way ahead. So the chance of them like losing at this stage of the game is still in their hands. Like it's not dictated by mousesports. Mousesports can get 1 kill and then maybe transition into a good trade-off. But Invictus Gaming still have the strength when it comes to a 5-man engagement.
And let's have a little bit of a look at the warding as well, by the way, because we haven't talked so much about that in this game right now. But IG, you can just tell how much they want to put pressure. 3 aggressive wards in the Radiant jungle as well as the mid lane, whereas mousesports, they only have 1 ward, which is at the rune. So they're being pressured. Oh, actually 2. They have a defensive one on their own cliff as well. So it kind of tells the story of the game. You generally ward for the occasion. And right now, IG are on the front foot and Mouse are on the back foot, so they'll be warding more defensively. And the problem with that is, if they don't get some more aggressive wards out, it's going to be harder and harder to find these kind of pickoffs that they just got. And that is their way back into the game. So I think even if you're behind in this game as Mouse, you have to acknowledge the fact that you can't just turtle this one out. You have to get wards out on the map, you have to go for more smokes, and you have to not be sniffed out by a Lycan Wolf in the back of your Brewmaster. That's not going to help you either.
No, it is not, man. No, it is not. Ferrari's doing a really great job of keeping tabs on this mousesports lineup, and this is why IG know what kind of fight they can take, especially when you have Ferrari buffed up in the way he is. He is going to just shred apart mousesports, and there's no way to hide as well. Like, Bounty Hunter can't even jump in and out inside of his Ghost Walk, because the Necro 3 books are already up here for Lycan.
It's a fast Roche respawn as well.
A faster Aegis, Invictus Gaming, it's just extra security. That's all it really is. And mousesports, they're still searching for the pickoff. That's all they're really searching for, and then they're not getting anything.
I think Mouse will want to fight for it, but it's going to be so hard. Like, even you look at Mouse's lineup and you're like, they've actually got really good team fight with both Axe and Brewmaster, but it's just, if they're the initiators and IG set up the fight already on their terms, I'm still choosing IG to win the fight, even if the gold was balanced, if it was like 0. Just IG's ability to turn around the fights. They've got so good counter initiation, Moonlight Shadow, Arrow, Hex, everything about Shaker, as well as Nether Ward. We're going to see if Mouse can get away with it. Right now, they're trying to push the top tier 2. YYF has poured it in. Misery doing some damage with the Edict, but it's only level 2, so this is going to take a long time. He's doing some damage, but...
And IG aren't falling for the same thing again. No. Like, there was a trap up on top lane which was sprung, which they're able to survive before, but you could see instantly YYF was like, okay, Lishrak's forcing into the tower, it means they're going to have support, and mousesports, their path to victory is through pickoffs. So that's what they basically got to search for at the moment. If they can't get that, then they don't gain any momentum. They can't capitalize on like having the extra kill, the extra hero down. It just doesn't exist.
And just see their movement on the map right now for mousesports, how defensively they're positioned right now. Only Misery right now is actually split pushing, which means IG kind of get to do with the map what they want, and what they want is the big stone guy, and he's gone.
Roshan taken by Ferrari. Actually, Aegis the Immortal can be taken by Pugna. But there's still a lot of money coming into these guys. And now Invictus Gaming, they're going to feel confident enough just to 5-man and go down mid. Like, that's all they really need. The only thing that maybe would wait for is if they can get like an easy DD rune onto Ferrari again. But that would be the only thing they would really search for. Maybe a BKB up on a couple of them, but the longer they wait, the faster these BKBs from mousesports are actually arriving. And I think that's mousesports' answer to this one. BKB on Axe, BKB on Bounty Hunter, get them on the front lines, get the Brewmaster to go off for the split, and the SD just tries to save them in case something goes horribly, horribly wrong. That's their plan right now if they're going to try and take a team fight. But they need that immunity.
Even with the immunity, though, I agree, it's the best item choice at this point. Without BKBs, I don't think they're winning this game. So they have to go for it, but they still need to consider if they're fighting into Mass Serpent wards, a Mirana with Manta style, and a Lycan with a Necronomicon as well as a Vlad's, the physical damage is still there. It's not, they can't just play around the fight like they want, but it's what they have to go for and they have to pull off. I think the disruptions from Shadow Demon, as well as getting something more out of the Brewmaster in the fight. We haven't really seen too much from the Brew in this game on MSS here. IG have just been able to lock him down very well. I think only the Cyclone has been used like once or twice only, and that's their ticket to winning the team fight against IG. Outnumber them, throw someone into the air, play the 5-on-4 fight, get a key hero out of the fight, and then maybe you can take it at that point. But we've got some really key items coming up for IG if you're checking out Chuan as well as Faith. They just grabbed some of the good.
Yeah. They're searching for the blinks, they're searching for the way in. Right now, mousesports are searching for a way to defend their middle lane. Invictus Gaming are swarming around that tier 2 tower, even taking out the neutral camps while they're just in the neighborhood. Try and be as efficient as possible. Ferrari is the man that keeps doing it. I don't know if he's waiting until he's got a full BKB until he just forces the issue, especially considering he didn't take the Aegis to the Immortal. And they put it over in YYF, because YYF's already pretty damn tanky, especially when he's got Drain. But they're just forcing down the tower from range, and Axe, like, he wants to jump in right now. He has actually managed to complete up his big item, and, well, maybe he can find that opening. But unfortunately, while the Wolves on him, the Hex will go, and they're able to grab him. The Brewmaster jumps in for the climb. Disruption goes to YYF, stopping his Drain, and Pycat, Mass Serpent Wars down next to him. He's able to dunk down to the Earthshaker, so Chuan's on the sideline, and they're wanting to back up from the Mass Serpent Wards. Stuns flying out, trying to pick off the Necro units as they go back past the tower. But Invictus Gaming forced to hide underneath their Moonlight Shadow.
A good play here from Pycat to turn that into an advantage. That was looking really, really poor for him. He got spotted out by the Nether Ward as well as the Wolves in the side, so IG knew exactly that he was alone there, but he was just so tanky that they couldn't bring him down fast enough. Even with Hex as well as Shackles, he still just tanked through it all and managed to turn it around on them and get a kill. But at the end of the day, the trade-off here is still Pycat gets 1 kill and then lose the tier 2, whereas the Collateral, they used Brewmaster Ultimate for 1 kill.
And it was a support kill at that, which isn't really what they're searching for. The upside is they didn't lose anyone. Like, when Axe was able to get that Culling Blade off with the buff up the mousesports had, like, they were right underneath Mass Serpent Wards. They had the choice that they could fight there if they wanted to, but they would have died, and they knew it too. So they had to back themselves up. Now, MSS, Echo Slam from Chuan, perfect stomp, and the arrow. That's just a wonderful combination. Lua knew what Chuan was going to throw. He knew how long he was able to stun him up with all of that. And just perfectly timed by Invictus Gaming.
Let's see, do they have a gem here? No, they have sentries on Chuan, but he doesn't see this is coming. That would be pretty sick if he put a sentry down right there and managed to catch out Fata. But they get the kill. I don't think there was anything more than a Brewmaster kill there, so not the biggest of deals here for IG, but they managed to, if nothing else, they put some pressure on the lanes as well, and now Mouse have to, again, play defensively and push out the lanes. If you've noticed, over the last 10 minutes, the 2 of the 3 lanes have generally been on mousesports side of the map, and that makes it very hard for them to go for the pickoffs, because it's very obvious that they're missing if they're not farming at their towers, so it's a tough call now for Mouse. I think that your best shot is to make sure you wait for the Brewmaster ultimate again, try to take another team fight, and maybe jump in the Axe and Brewmaster very simultaneously. Get some sort of power opening where you burst down one target immediately instead of having Pycat lead the charge, then get controlled up, or having the Brewmaster get controlled up, and then they just kite Pycat. That's how the fight ends every time.
It's easy when you say it like that, but doing it up against Invictus Gaming's positioning...
It's not easy to... It doesn't even sound easy, to be honest.
They're going to come back. They're going to do it now. IG, they'll breach high ground for the first time. And they're looking for an opening. They got Pycat caught in an arrow right now. SD Disruption will save him for the moment. Misery's also looking to try and keep out these Necrobooks.
This tower is
really
just
causing some
falling.
problems. Yeah, the Mass Serpent Wards. Yep. Now they can move on to the racks. Misery's trying to keep them away. They're backing up. Safety first. Come on.
Makes sense from IG's perspective here. They used the Necronomicon, they used the Lycan Ultimate, they still have cooldown on Echo Slam, and they're not in a rush anyway. if that was Mouse playing, getting that kind of fight at the IG base, I think you go for it. But IG can be a little bit more laid back and try to play for the late game here.
Yeah.
They got what they came for. I don't think they actually came for the racks. I think they came for the tower. This is what they wanted. And they're going to be going again in about a minute when they've pushed out the bottom and mid lane. They're going to group up again. Necronomicon off cooldown. We even have a gem now on Chuan. And they will be putting some really serious pressure in this top lane. We're going to see if Mouse can defend. It's coming soon.
Yeah, but it's got to come a lot sooner rather than later, man, because IG just are getting fatter and fatter, and this Lycan is stronger than anybody else right now. Like, building info now, looking, he finished the BKB before, but he could be looking into that big AC, and when that starts coming into the engagement, Pyket's going to have a real hard time. Like, I know he just also picked up his own plate mail, so he might be looking at a Shiva's guard for himself, just try and cause a little bit more struggle for IG during team fights. But they really need pickoffs. Like, beyond everything else, they need pickoffs. But IG are giving them no inch. I haven't seen IG out of position for this, apart from that one moment up on the top lane.
What I've seen over the last couple of matches that I've cast IG, I think, in my opinion, they have the best map awareness of any team in the world right now. It's really pretty crazy to watch. I don't think this game is the best showcasing, because I think a lot of the time they have been putting the pressure, so it's more obvious when the rotations are coming. But if in one of their recent series against DK, it was unbelievable. They didn't get caught out at all, and DK's supports got really underleveled. And I want to point out Ferrari, he started out 0-2-0. He's got 3 assists since then, and he's still 3,000 net worth ahead of the Axe at this point, who bullied him in lane. This is just Lycan, played very well, farmed very well, and the hero itself just is a faster farmer than Axe.
Yeah, especially when he's doing split farming. Like, he was farming up Ancients while his walls were pushing out the bottom lane, which also opens up Invictus Gaming for some kind of pressure down here. Now, they've shown themselves to be on the tower with fissure spam coming out from Chuan. He really is not holding back on that at all. Like, when they've got the arcane boots just popping off almost non-stop for Invictus Gaming, they're really making the most out of this mana.
Uh-oh, Fata!
There's a gem over on Chuan. Pycat jumps in though, looking for the call. Fader's already on the sideline, and Pycat, he's underneath the mass overwatch phase to blink out. He actually stopped the SD from getting a disruption off, and Pycat will go down. It's 13-9. And Invictus Gaming, they're going to wait for the fissure to dissipate, but they'll go down the bottom lane. Even though they use Mass Serpent Wards, they can push towards the high ground and probably take another tier 3 tower, if not racks.
They're going to take barracks off of this unless there's buybacks coming out from mousesports, and I don't think they have them. Does Axe have buyback? He's the only one with it, so.
Yeah.
But what was so good about that fight for IG was they put pressure on the...
He's jumping in, he's trying to defend right now, but it's just a Brewmaster split. The Axe has managed to purchase buyback right now. Luo leaping himself away. There's still the Nether Ward in the ground, which is going to cause some problems for mousesports. The Brewlings are trying to get rid of it. And it's taken some sweet time to do so, and now they've finally got it out. But they got the Brewmaster ready to go, they got the Axe to buy back, and they took the tier 3 tower again. Again, IG will be very, very happy with this.
They're just not even trading. That's the very impressive part about this. They're never losing anything, as it seems, over the last 10 minutes. Or if they lose something, it's always a favorable trade. They haven't had a single bad moment in the last 10 minutes. If you look at the gold graph, you can actually see it. The last time the gold went up is 10 minutes ago when we had a couple of kills coming in the way of mousesports. So, where was I? The thing about this whole IG lineup and how they fought that fight in the Radiant jungle, if you're seeing what I'm drawing right here, this circle right here.
I'm watching Luo right now, because Pycat, he missed the call. Luo was very, very quick on that leap, and the fact he's got the Manda style as well means the Bounty Hunter cannot keep the track on him.
It's kind of a long time ago now, but I'd like to finish off on it because it illustrates the point of IG's map awareness and again how they understand the game. So they put pressure on the bottom tower, and they actually had the expectation that Mouse were going to try to flank them. So they counter-flanked them. That's something you very rarely see, is that most of the time if a team is focusing on a lane, one team will flank and the fight will break out and the stronger team will win. But this time IG already predicted that Mouse were going to go for that move. They found Fata out, he didn't have any impact on the fight. Pycat got fissured off, and they also got an easy kill, I think, on MSS there. So, like, IG are just, in this game, are just outclassing mousesports right now, and they've built themselves such an absolutely huge lead at this point. It's almost 20,000 gold, 12,000 experience as well, and it's not looking like it's going to go up anytime soon for Mouse.
They're going to need an absolute miracle right now, an absolute miracle, especially with the finished AC. It's life is definitely not going to get easier for mousesports. Their only option right now, in my mind, is not even split push. It's not even just getting a one-off pick-off. It's trying to make something out of like that Roshan choke point. And that's the only real option I see for them. But at the same time, like, Faith throws down Mass Serpent Wards up on the high ground, up here next to Roshan, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I can't fight from here. But pickoffs just aren't working for them. They're not finding IG out of position. They're not having enough aggressive observer wards to really see IG's movements either. So with all of these things not working for them, with no track because they keep getting like on Mirana who just dispels it out with the Mana style, they're not finding any opportunity to gain an advantage.
Oh, arrow on Roshan here. Mouse know it's happening, but can they do anything about it? Doesn't look like it. They're going to concede it, which I think is the right choice. Their team fight is 2-way right now, and they have to play on the defensive, but yeah, where's the comeback?
Yeah, there isn't one man apart from fight on top of tier 3 tower and free.
This time around we'll go to
Ferrari,
the car himself, and Pugna will be getting the Aegis again. And we haven't talked too much about Pugna's inventory. We've been focusing a lot on Mirana and Lycan, but Pugna in this game has a mech, a 4-staff, an Axe Scepter, and almost 4,000 gold on top of that. YYF, it seems whenever he's playing Pugna, he always gets amazing farm and always has great spell usage, so I'm not really surprised to see IG pick this hero more than any other team right now. Personally, for me, it's still an underrated hero. I love to see IG picking it up as often as they are, and they're just showcasing why it's such a great hero in this game. And look, here comes the push.
Yeah, you knew it was going to come. mousesports were actually staring down the tier 2 tower in the top lane, again waiting for someone from Invictus Gaming to come back and defend it, but with the open racks on the bottom as well as over on the top, like they know IG's just going to push him with Cheese, Aegis, AC, YYF with every item under the stun that he wants, even Mirana with a full BKB as well as Mana Style and drums. They've got everything they want to breach high ground. Faith destroys at level 2 wards, and they jump out, but Pycat, he can't get the last hit on Faith. He's already dropped down before they get the Culling Blade off, so there's no bonus coming in here, and Misery, Ferrari just mopping him up. It's basic physical attack. The Milling Race has gone down to the wards in the meantime. Ferrari just in the BKB, and there's your Echo Slam from Chuan. 3 heroes on the sidelines. Pycat's forced back into retreat. MSS as well blinking himself away to safety. But the base of mousesports will be ravaged here by Invictus Gaming, and GG is the call. Invictus Gaming will take game number 1 here in the first best of 3 quarterfinal between mousesports and Invictus Gaming, live here in Frankfurt, the Commerce Bank Arena. It's a beautiful, beautiful play. Invictus Gaming, I don't think you can fault their movement at all. Their draft was solid. mousesports, the aggression didn't pay off, Sint.
I think the only real mistake that IG made in this game was the the mid gank, where they tried to go for a 3-on-1 and actually died 2 heroes. That's kind of the only finger I can put on their play in this game, which is kind of scary because Mouse got off to almost a dream start, I would say. At least in the mid lane, that's a dream start, getting 2 kills on your own. He had a 3-level advantage against the Lycan, and it still was enough. IG's draft pays off. They play a beautiful mid game, as they always do. And what do you do in the second game if you're mousesports? Do you try to play even more aggressively, or do you actually try to play mid-late game against this kind of a team? Because I think they're going to get outshined if they do that. So what would you change for the early game? I mean, they didn't even play with a carry, right? They played really early game oriented, but their lanes got figured out, and IG did a really good job, especially in the top lane.
Man, at this point, I wouldn't even want to try and guess mousesports' second draft. We leave that to our wonderful panel of experts. I'm not quite sure if they're actually ready to go just yet, but either way, man, it looks like they are. So let's see what they all think. So back to the boys and the Brains Trust.
Thank you very much, Toby. Yes, always ready, sir. Born ready over here at the desk. We are always ready for your throw, whenever you want to do it. Absolutely. In Paul we trust. Gents, it started well for Mouse. They, got a great double kill at the start. It was 3-1. But Seb, you said, we were standing watching, and you said, yeah, I'm not feeling this. And it was very early.
The thing is that that Brewmaster pick was key for them, right? To analyze that, and the Brewmaster stayed on that top lane, doing nothing, achieving some farm. But he was level 4 when IG started to push the first tier 1 towers, and they had no answer to that. So they got the towers, they got a mech, they got a fight advantage, they got rush. They just snowballed on Mouse. That's how I feel. At least.
And then there was a key moment. Quite early on, where they had a chance to take down mid tower now, and they were a bit feisty. They were like, no, we're going to go and get the kills instead. And Seb was standing there going, I don't like that. How did you feel? Did you say?
I mean, the turning point, and throughout the entire game, Chuan was the standout star with these fissures. But the turning point was the middle fight when Mouse was up 6-1, and Chuan lands a stun that isolates Pycat from his team, and they can easily just turn the fight around. They take down the Panda first, and continuously pick off mousesports, and then ultimately they end up with an ultra kill on the Priestess of the Moon, and this is really where mousesports lost their edge.
Yeah, it was pretty tough from there on backwards, guys. I mean, was there anything you looked at, Bruno, and went, well, if they could do this and they could maybe change this, then maybe they can get back into the game?
Well, the thing is that if you look at them, they were 7-2 at one point into the game, and from there it rotated to a 2-12 on favor of IG. And at that point, even before they started making the comeback, the problem with them was that they had a lineup that couldn't stop Roche, as Seb was saying. They couldn't just do anything to stop the push without fighting. And it was a catch-22 situation. If they fight, they're going against this Earthshaker, against this Lycan that was getting really big. If they didn't fight, they were losing tower. They chose the ladders. Didn't pay off.
We said early on, didn't we, before the game started, if they got the early game advantage, then maybe they had a chance. But that didn't even prove to be that way, Ben, either. I mean, the crowd went crazy when they got the first few kills, and it seemed like they had some momentum, but they never really got going after that.
They really didn't. And I was kind of questioning IG's draft at the start, but really the Pugna pick, it didn't seem like it worked well. It's like, oh, are they really going to push against Axe and a Brewmaster with early blink? But it really shined through. They just like decrep the Axe as soon as he came in, doesn't do any damage, and he's not getting attacked, and they just life drain him away. The Panda tri-lane also, Panda in a tri-lane, he's not going to get the experience. And Brewmaster's time to shine, wasn't even present into that game. They picked the Leshrac into the Pugna. Leshrac couldn't really do that much, but I think the most ridiculous thing that game was IG's discipline. Sen talked about the gold graph a little bit. It only upswung once. That was a smoke gank on to the Priestess of the Moon. They got the mid tower, and then aside from that, IG didn't make like any mistakes. They got the tower, the T3s, they backed. They got the T3s, they backed. They didn't give any more track kills than
They really don't seem to panic, do they?
No, I wasn't a fan of the Earthshaker pick to begin with. Seb was. And now I see why. It really diffused the aggression from mousesports. From the very first Fissure he landed on the top lane, and throughout the game, there was nothing mousesports could do against these Fissures.
There was this fight in the mid when actually Mouseport was trying to push the tower and they failed. There was this fight that extended to the jungle. We were talking with Seb. The Fissure never actually came because that Fissure was there to stop the re-engage. He was there. Okay, normally you are okay. I want to burst, so I will use all my spells. But they didn't use the Fissure at all, and Mouseport had that in mind because they couldn't do anything.
Quick thoughts on the first game. We're going to go into the second one.
It went exactly as expected.
Okay, so game two. Where do mousesports go from here?
Yeah, I really think mousesports should stick to what they want. I mean, their drafting was fine, their strategy was fine. It's just some decision making that weren't, like the decision from the support to stay with the Brewmaster, although he was fine and getting some levels under his tower, and not maybe try to gank that Pugna. I don't think they focused on the right heroes, whether it is to give them advantage or to punish the opponents. So they just have to change a bit their decision making and try to see a bit further for when it comes to the game plan, and then they could do it.
Good stuff. We're going to take a very quick break now, but when we come back, game two of the first quarterfinal here at ESL 1 Frankfurt. It's IG in control with a 15-0 Shadow Shaman. This seems like that might be a ban in the second game. We'll find out after the break.